Whoa, hopefully it didn't startle you there just a little too much. Anyways, I'm essentially here to just talk about one man, one myth, and one legend, I guess, as some would say. Um, we are here to talk about Leonid Gaidai, aka the John Landis of Soviet filmmakers. So I'm going to be mainly talking about three films. The film that you're currently, watching clips of is Операция И и другие приключения Шурика, which is such a banger of a movie. I cannot recommend it enough. The way in which they're able to do comedy is just fantastic. Absolutely crazy stuff happens in this movie. It essentially does what a lot of movies that have this format weren't able to pull off, which is taking three stories and intertwining them into one, essentially. That's exactly why, if you were to translate the name of this movie, it just translates as Operation U, and the other adventures of Shurik. And it's such a great, fantastic comedy movie. If you ever really, really wanted to experience what it's like to be a real Soviet, check out Daddy Gaidai. A lot of the techniques that he uses in his filmmaking process often revolve around visual gags and slapstick. There's a lot of witty dialogue that is very, very nuanced and even difficult for me to understand at points. I usually watch these movies with subtitles. But I thought that it would be a great start to begin this whole video making journey with Gaidai, because he made a great trilogy. This is one of the first movies. I believe this may be the second. It may be the first. I'm not entirely sure, but the characters that you're currently looking at, they were created and they're in all of his movies, essentially, like, comedy movies. And they're kind of Soviet mascots. They're kind of like unless you're a Russian speaker, you probably wouldn't know them, but there is Трое из Простоквашино. There is also Ну погоди. Both of them happen to be cartoons, and those are just some of the mascots. And these three guys are in basically all of the movies, especially the trilogy. I'm pretty sure they might. I don't believe that they are in the last movie, but they do play a significant role in the first two. They are essentially just the Three Stooges. They're just super goofy, and each of them has a distinct personality. My favorite happens to be the guy in the fur coat. He's the best. He's basically just like the gay one. I know it's kind of crazy to say, but that is basically, what he is. This guy right here is also amazing. He's played by the actor named, I do have to look it up. But I'm pretty sure his name is like Yuri something. He's probably my second favorite. But, overall, these movies just slap. I've seen them so many times. But look at him go. Just a wacky, crazy guy. This entire video is going to be unscripted. I'm sort of just watching the clips as we go, but Shurik is the main character, and all of the side characters are just they fit for the time, like they fit in the time period. And these movies were made in the late 60s, early 70s. And it's kind of crazy how he was able to make so many great classic Soviet movies within such a short time period. Absolutely wild. If you guys do want, I can probably do a more in-depth analysis, but there really is no point. I'm just trying to talk about what I feel about this great legend. Honestly, I would say he is up there with Tarkovsky for great Soviet era filmmakers. Some of the stuff that he directed after this trilogy wasn't the best, but I mean it's still better than what most filmmakers make. Not only that, but their streak. He was on such a hot streak. There's also another movie. It's more of a short, which features the Russian Three Stooges, called Samogonchiki, which is like they translated the movie as bootleggers, but it literally just translates as moonshiners, people who make moonshine. And by far I would say this is probably my second favorite of the three. So the first movie just kind of just has like three stories, and wacky crazy stuff happens in it, and it's just an overall great experience. The characters are super memorable, and Shurik is a great protagonist. In the second movie, which is called Kavkazskaya Plenitsa, you follow him as he wants to learn about folklore, about, different people in the mountains, especially. It essentially is called the Caucasian captive, or the captive / prisoner from the Caucasus. But for some reason the movie is called Kidnapping Caucasian Style. I don't know. It's such a weird translation, but I thought that I'd mention it. And basically he stops an uncle from selling his niece into arranged marriage, essentially. Like it's like a big again comedic thing, but it's really well done, and that's the uncle right there. He's just such a goofy goober. And again, it features the Russian Three Stooges, and there are like too many gags and too many memorable moments. Another thing that I should mention is that the music is absolutely outstanding. The background music that I'm using for this video comes from the first movie, actually. Another thing to mention is the amount of smoking that they do in this movie. Not only that, but all the other movies. Like, there's an entire scene dedicated to them, like, scamming people by doing the twist. It's super funny and just amazing overall. So, again, all these three movies I think everyone should check out. It gives a great insight into what the Soviet Union was like. A lot of the comedy and just overall how great the music really was. I will occasionally just, sit and listen to the music that comes from these movies. The third one is called Ivan Vasilyevich меняет профессию, which translates to Ivan the Terrible changes his profession. And this is by far the wackiest of the three, because Ivan the Terrible comes through a time machine to the 20th century. So it's just this super weird and wacky movie where the protagonist, again, Shurik, is sent back in time, and then he switches places with Ivan the Terrible. And it's hinted towards the end of the movie that all of it was just a dream, because he's like this crazy scientist and he's like building this machine.
Да понятия молодежи царь не мудрено. Они кемскую волость требуют. Воевали, говорят. Так подай ее сюда.
Что? Кемскую волость?
О, я.
Кемская волость.
О, я.
Да пусть забирает на здоровье. Я-то думал, господи.
Как же это так, кормилец?
Царь знает, что делает. Государство не обеднеет. Забирайте. Забирайте.
Не вели казнить, великий государь! Вели слово молвить!
How much the government or whoever funded the movie.
Да ты что, сукин сын, самозванец, казенные земли разбазариваешь? Так никаких властей не напасешься.
These movies did kind of kickstart or propelled a lot of the careers of classic Soviet actors, such as in the first and second movies that I showed. She's also in the third, I believe. But like the main love interest in basically all three of the movies, she became a really, really popular Soviet actress. And then there's, Mikhail Pugovkin, which you can see right now. He's absolute just, comedic genius in his timing and whatnot. So yeah, I mean, there's really nothing more that I can really say except just go out, watch these movies. I just wanted more people to be aware of how great of a director he was. There are other directors that I could compare him to, but anyways, that is the end of the video. So I'll see you guys later.